What if everything you're trying to avoid is actually what you need? Every desire you have, peace, abundance, love, exists on a spectrum, and that spectrum has two ends. The problem is, most people try to chase one end while rejecting the other. But the law of polarity says, you can't have one without the other. Light cannot exist without shadow. Success has no meaning without failure. Joy is only known because you've tasted sorrow. It's not a philosophical metaphor. It's a blueprint of reality. The universe is built in opposites, yin and yang, inhale and exhale, creation and destruction. But here's the twist. The more you resist the opposite, the more power you give it. You want confidence? Then face your insecurity. You crave clarity? You must walk through confusion. You seek love? Then embrace the fear of loss. The opposite is not your enemy. It's the activation key. But society taught you to avoid discomfort at all costs, to numb pain, to chase pleasure, to pathologize sadness. And in doing so, you lose your access to wholeness. Because true transformation isn't about escaping polarity, it's about integrating it. Every time you suppress an emotion, it doesn't disappear. It retreats into the subconscious, waiting, shaping your reality from the shadows. Avoid anger long enough, and it becomes resentment. Avoid grief, and it mutates into numbness. Avoid fear, and it starts running your life in disguise through overthinking, perfectionism, control. This is polarity ignored, and when you ignore one side of the spectrum, you distort the other. Think about it. Have you ever craved success, but secretly feared what it would change? Have you chased love, but unconsciously picked people who couldn't give it? That's the subconscious honoring the hidden opposite. The universe doesn't just respond to what you want. It responds to what you hold energetically. And if rejection of discomfort is stronger than your desire, the polarity cancels out your progress. That's why positive thinking isn't enough. Because underneath the words, your energy might still scream, "I'm afraid." And energy is what the universe listens to. So what if the key isn't to destroy fear, pain, or doubt, but to meet them with curiosity instead of judgment? Because on the other side of every uncomfortable feeling is the expansion you've been craving. Everything you're running from is trying to evolve you. The law of polarity isn't punishment, it's precision. The universe doesn't give you contrast to confuse you. It gives it to clarify you. Every low moment isn't proof you're broken. It's a mirror showing what needs attention. Like a seed breaking underground, growth looks chaotic from inside. But polarity ensures balance. If you descend deeply into fear, you also hold the potential to rise into courage. If you've suffered rejection, you are equally capable of building powerful belonging. Polarity reveals range, but we've been taught to live on one side only, the positive side, and in doing so, we flatten ourselves. You cannot know joy fully unless you've made peace with sorrow. You cannot sustain peace unless you've confronted your chaos. You can't hold real power unless you've seen what it's like to feel powerless and stayed there long enough to transmute it. So don't rush through your darkness. Sit with it. Learn its voice. It's not here to crush you. It's here to complete you. That's when polarity stops being a burden and becomes a guide. Integration is power, not perfection, not purity. Integration. True power is not light without darkness. It's light that's been tested by darkness and stayed lit. Because when you stop rejecting half of yourself, you become whole. And wholeness radiates a different kind of energy. Not the manic energy of constant self-improvement, but the calm strength of self-acceptance. This is what most people miss. They try to ascend without grounding, manifest joy without facing grief, speak love while carrying shame. But polarity won't allow it. Until you embrace the full spectrum, you'll stay looped in cycles, repeating lessons disguised as patterns. The breakthrough happens not when you escape the negative, but when you stop labeling it that way. Fear becomes a compass, anger becomes fuel, sadness becomes depth. All these emotions you once feared, they become tools. They become signal, not noise. Because polarity isn't about suffering, it's about alchemy. Turning your opposites into integration, turning your contrast into clarity. This is how transformation becomes permanent, not through willpower, but through union. Polarity isn't just spiritual theory, it's encoded in your everyday life. Why do breakups often lead to breakthroughs? Why does losing a job sometimes spark your life's purpose? Why do you hit rock bottom, only to discover a part of yourself you never knew existed? Because polarity moves you. It stretches you through contrast. It sharpens your focus by giving you the opposite of what you want, so that your desire becomes a decision. You say you want freedom. Polarity might first show you what captivity feels like. You long for peace? It may confront you with chaos until you choose peace from the inside. This is not cruelty. It's calibration. Life isn't punishing you. It's aligning you. And when you start seeing your opposites as invitations, everything changes. You no longer fear discomfort. You stop avoiding challenge. You understand that every setback is actually an equal and opposite step forward. You just haven't reached the pivot point yet. And here's the secret. That pivot isn't external. It's a shift in perception. Once you reframe your pain as preparation, you're no longer a victim of polarity. You become a master of it. Everything is energy, and energy is not neutral. It carries charge. It carries direction. When you suppress one side of your polarity, your energy field becomes distorted. You might say all the right affirmations, but your vibration leaks contradiction. You say, "I'm abundant," but deep down you fear not having enough. You act confident, but your nervous system is bracing for rejection. Polarity isn't just about thought. It lives in your body. Your tension, your breath, your posture, they all broadcast your real beliefs. And the universe doesn't respond to words. It responds to signal, to frequency, to alignment. The more you suppress half of your truth, the fuzzier your signal becomes. But when you integrate your opposites, own your fear, sit with doubt, hold space for anger, something wild happens. Your energy becomes congruent. You stop sending mixed messages to life. You stop chasing and start magnetizing. You stop striving and start receiving. Because now, you are not rejecting the shadow. You are standing in the center of it, whole, aligned, awake. And that signal, that's what shifts timelines. The people you admire most, they didn't avoid polarity, they embodied it. Think of Mandela. He found his vision for unity in the furnace of isolation. Think of Frida Kahlo. Her pain became her palette. Or Nikola Tesla. In madness and obsession, he found genius. What they all had in common wasn't perfection. It was integration. They didn't deny their fear, rage, heartbreak. They used it. They turned polarity into power. This is what makes your story compelling, not how smooth your path is, but how you transformed what was meant to break you. Because contrast gives your life texture, it makes your message real. And the more darkness you've walked through, the more light you can hold without burning out. The law of polarity isn't a rule, it's a gift. It means your worst moments are not wasted. They're compost, fertilizer for the future version of you. So instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this tension asking me to become?" Because tension is transformation in disguise. So here you are, not broken, not lost, just polarized, holding two truths, two ends of a spectrum, and the wisdom to finally stop fighting one for the sake of the other. Because integration isn't a destination, it's a daily practice. It's choosing to hold joy and pain in the same breath, to be soft and strong, to be scared and brave. And that middle path, that's your real power. Let your opposites speak, let them dance, because once they stop competing, they start composing. A life that's not divided into right and wrong, but unified by awareness. If this truth resonates, maybe it's time to stop scrolling and start listening to what your pain is teaching you, to what your resistance is reflecting, to the version of you waiting on the other side of polarity. Because some part of you already knows. You didn't come here to chase light. You came here to become whole. And if you made it this far, you've already begun.